voted for Lando Norris. That is remarkable. The Lando Norris hype train is building up. I have been comparing Lando Norris to Rubens Barrichello, but how good is Lando Norris? Like, I really want to hear your opinion. Like, is he that good? 3 people have now voted in favour of Norris. I think a lot of people really are rating Norris highly, and you put Lance Stroll in D tier. I've got to say, that's quite generous, my friend. That is rather... I think you are being quite nice towards him, which I know realistically, yeah, that's where you would put someone like Lando Norris, but, you know, you've got to realise that Lance Stroll is by far one of the least consistent drivers in the sport right now, but I've had enough of talking of Lance Stroll, but I want to talk about Lando Norris, who, in my opinion, is someone who has glimpses of World Championship winning talent, but he also has moments where he can flatter to deceive at the worst possible moment. I mean, how good is Lance Stroll? Like, my poll is running up. Who will win the Canadian Grand Prix? And 3 people think that Norris could win the race. That is truly remarkable. It's definitely true that people's opinions of the young British driver is rising up. Stroll in C tier. Stroll over Jules Bianchi. Wow, that is I think you're committing sacrilege there, my friend. I think you are committing what we call blasphemy around these parts of the F1 fan community. Yes, of course, Norris blew his chances of winning the 2021 Russian Grand Prix in what was a huge pressure situation where he had to make a decision over whether he should stick to dry tyres or wet tyres. I think he hesitated and waited far too long to pit when it became obvious that the rain was lashing down. It was so obvious that he needed to go on wet tyres, especially when you consider I think he had about a 10 or 20-second advantage over Lewis Hamilton when it started raining. He just panicked. And I do get the sense that Lando Norris is still not the most confident when it comes to strategic decisions. He can be hesitant on the radio. You know, he doesn't have that sense of decisiveness and that authority that Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz have when they're in a big pressure situation in the middle of a race. He's got to improve that. But once he improves that aspect of his driving and his racecraft and his management, then I can really start to consider him a threat. It's his decision-making and his self-belief that definitely needs to improve. But once he gets on top of that, he is a potential world champion winning driver. I think at his absolute best, he is better than George Russell. And he's got the potential to match someone like maybe even Charles Leclerc. Because I know Charles Leclerc himself has got problems with making decisions on the fly. But Leclerc, though, has got the advantage of being a real true pedigree qualifier. Qualifying might be delayed because of the weather forecast, yes. Hailstorms have been battering it down in Canada, and of course, I think as you've heard from Kim Illman, that there were fans that were denied entry to the track this weekend on Friday afternoon, which is pretty disgusting in my opinion. But Lando Norris, I think he is one to watch out for. And as for his teammate, Oscar Piastri, well, if he can stay on top of Oscar Piastri, because you've got to realise Oscar Piastri is improving, then Lando Norris has got to be a threat because, you know, Oscar Piastri himself was a top driver in the junior categories, winning 3 consecutive junior categories from Formula Renault to Formula 3 and Formula 2, all within the space of about 2.5 years. Indeed, John Cartier, yes. I mean, Lando Norris has got the world at his feet, and if McLaren can deliver him a race-winning car, it surely has got to be up to Norris to deliver the goods.